Welcome to Friday Night Party Line. Tonight on the show, we're going to be talking about politics. To help us do that, we've got Skojo. Hey, Skojo.
The P-tape is real.
Skojo, how's it going, my man?
I don't know. I'm kind of grooving right now with this music.
Yeah, we got the music on the live stream for once. This is great. We've also got Churba. How's it going?
I'm fine. I'm just dreading when I inevitably have to watch the P-tape for work.
Why? Oh, that's right. You would have to watch it, wouldn't you? That's terrible. I'm so sorry.
I suppose on the upside, I mean, Trump is a notorious germaphobe, so, you know, there is at least no possibility of him doing something like, say, I don't know, getting right in there into the action, because, you know, it's never something that people do, going against their phobias as the ultimate taboo. Or at least that's what I'm telling myself.
Well, today we've gotten that much, just to start politics, we've gotten that much closer to the P-tape being real, with apparently Mueller having evidence of the lawyer Cohen having been in Prague after denying it. Which is one of the Dowser claims that they were saying wasn't true.
Do you mean dossier?
Yes, I meant dossier. I said Dowser.
Well, I suppose if you are looking for water,
yeah,
trying to find the P-tape.
they're dowsing for moisture. They're looking for sodden VHS.
Dossier.
Yeah,
so there was a lot of news today.
There is a lot of news today.
Yeah, it's been a long. It's been a long year this week.
Yeah, yeah. Skojo, as our resident master politique, where exactly would you like to start on all this?
Well, I mean, I already talked about the lawyer.
Do we want to talk about the raid on the lawyer's office, because that's a pretty significant thing?
That is a significant thing, especially with everybody going like, "What about attorney-client privilege?" And you're like,
"Oh yes,
that does not extend to actually the lawyer committing a crime."
Yeah, it absolutely does not. And it was I don't remember who it was that really brought it up, but it was, saying that, yeah, if your lawyer is covering up you committing a crime, I'm sorry, that doesn't count.
And especially if they're breaking some laws while they're trying to do it as well.
While doing it, yeah.
Also, would you believe...
think about this? Oh, go ahead, Churba.
Would you believe the first coverage I saw of, like, the whole denial that the lawyer was actually in Prague, and, like, it being revealed and all that? The first coverage I saw of that from anyone involved in the press was Glenn Greenwald saying, like, "Oh, I don't really believe it. I don't believe he was in Prague. Where's the evidence?" It's just like, oh, fuck off, Glenn. He would rather castrate himself with his own fucking toenails than admit that he was actually ever wrong or mistaken about anything. Or The Intercept was, for that matter, because The Intercept is basically just an extension of his oversized ego.
Well, I mean, when you create a paper, one would think it would be somewhat attached to your ego, right?
But usually it gets divorced from that at some point. Like, normally you lose your powers as EIC when you stop being EIC. And you don't get to swing your weight around as a founder, and you don't get to write whatever you want in the paper, because that's considered a breach of the wall.
What?
Yeah,
having one of the owners write for the paper completely unedited.
Yeah, because for those who are not aware of how newspapers and journalistic structures typically function, normally there is a very defined wall between editorial and corporate, and nowhere shall there be a breach of that wall. But well, that's for journalistic entities with integrity. So, Talking about his attorney, whose name I was just looking up, Cohen.
Yeah.
Cohen. There's news that the FBI may have seized recorded conversations.
Yeah, that's what really had people panicked.
Trump's attorney's office. Including, according to a source, this is according to CNN Politics, sources, recording conversations, these conversations, here we go, may have been on cell phones or computers that were seized by the FBI during Monday's raid. So, I'm very interested to see what these tapes may reveal should they become public.
Well, that's why they're panicking right now. They just released. I think somebody was just saying that, aides of Trump said that Trump now believes that the New York investigation.
Wait, Trump has AIDS?
Well, for now, a couple days. Unless you're talking about AIDS.
I don't.
I'm not sure which way you're going with that joke. I've now ruined it.
Thank you. Yeah, a little bit, but that's okay.
They now view that investigation by the New York office as more dangerous than the Mueller probe into collusion in Russia, It is kind of funny that it is mostly involved with paying off porn stars.
Yeah. Can we just briefly, and I know we occasionally do this, but I feel like there's a need to bring it up that the GOP seems to be perfectly okay with Trump having had an affair and paying off a porn star. Can we...
Well, let's just note this. An RNC finance official stepped down today after reportedly paying $1.6 million to a pregnant playmate that came out, and it was negotiated. It was negotiated by Michael Cohen, the fixer.
What? When did this happen? What was this?
This happened today. It's on the front page of the Washington Post, along with the other breaking news, just as we're sitting here, that the U.S. has launched attacks on Syria.
Oh no!
Oh no! Who could have seen? Who could have seen that coming? I mean, considering that President Trump has previously had such a strong stance about warning of any impending attacks when Obama was doing it.
Yeah. He was like, I'm not going to tell you if I strike. Twitter. I may or may not be striking in the next couple days. It's like, oh, okay. Clearly.
What's the over/under on us getting into World War III during the next
still pretty
couple
low.
of years? Good. Oh my God, this congressman looks like such a...
Oh, did you look at the guy who just stepped down?
He looks like such a turd.
What, the one with the playmate that he impregnated and who got an abortion?
Apparently.
That was it's not a congressman.
He's a deputy finance chair.
Finance chair. But like the best part is not only that he paid like $1.6 million to a playmate, but she also got an abortion, which it's always fun for the pro-life Republicans.
Because we always know how open to abortion the RNC is. That's
exactly.
great.
Oh yes, I mean they're all about it. I mean,
well, remember,
you can hardly stop them.
You do it. It's okay if they do it. It's not okay if you do it.
It's a do as I say, not as I do sort of situation.
I mean, we're living under the Trump GOP, so I mean, it is pretty much do as I say and not as I actually do, because I'm pretty sure that most of those religious conservative people don't technically preach that you should be like sleeping with a porn star instead of your wife, but I mean, through their actions, who knows?
They're probably. I can just see one of them like standing up before Congress during an impeachment hearing, just be like, "Show me in the Bible where it says it can't do that."
Hey, Jesus hung out with a bunch of the prostitutes. I mean, what do you think he was doing?
Jesus loved the prosies.
Hey, he hung out with them.
The Prozzies?
Yeah, I can't really see a member of Congress using the word prozzies in Congress.
Prozzies. I mean, especially considering the Trump administration just recently passed promised. Did they pass, or did they promise to pass a piece of legislation that would effectively make it illegal? That would make it much more difficult for prostitutes to engage in safer methods of finding their clients.
Yes.
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 Yeah. So.
Oh man.
Though to be fair, a lot of Democrats have been behind that as well, which is pretty shitty because unfortunately sex work is still an extremely stigmatized profession in the United States among both.
It's stigmatized, and it's even more dangerous now because of this piece of legislation.
Yeah. And then they'll use that danger to turn around and say, oh, well, obviously we're going to have to be harder on prostitution to protect all these poor women. So the reason that they're in danger is your fault in the first place, dickhead.
Yeah. I don't understand. I don't understand the RNC's problem with prostitution, considering that it prevents people from going and getting abortions.
What?
Yeah. Huh?
I mean, it technically doesn't.
You want me to walk you through this one?
I mean, there you could be with a prostitute that isn't on birth control and doesn't use protection, and then you could cause an abortion.
Yeah, but those are
right?
those are prostitutes that are clearly stupid.
No, okay. I'm not going to make
Oh.
judgment calls on this.
Well, I mean, I gotta think about that. I gotta ruminate on that one. But anywho.
Anyway, the point is
anyways.
The way you have to go about this. No, the way you have to say this, Victor, you sold it wrong. Why does the GOP, the party of business and be an entrepreneur, doesn't view doing it all? And if you just have that skill, why don't you sell it on the open market for a fair wage and succeed?
And what business does a government have telling people how to live their lives? It's just yet another example of government sticking its fingers into the lives of the average citizen.
Exactly. See, there you go.
And
that's why, that's exactly that's exactly why the GOP wanted to get involved in preventing states from legalizing, marijuana or.
Shall we talk about that?
You mean like how the former Speaker of the House, John Boehner,
Boehner,
joined a what was it? He joined like some sort of executive committee.
He joined the executive committee of an agricultural company that owns marijuana farms across 11 states.
Yeah, after being horrifically against marijuana his entire time in Congress. When he got out, though, if honestly, whenever you see him relaxing, he's definitely you could definitely tell John Boehner was a guy who could knew how to chill out. He was definitely you always see him with on a golf course with a giant glass of wine, just kind of you could tell he was big cigar or something, but who knows what was in that cigar? Rolled his own.
Actually, I just came into 8 cigars. I have no idea what to do with.
Oh, God. Today was the first day that was above 80. Well, it was actually, I should say, above 60, and it happened to be 80 in Pennsylvania, and so windows were down, and of course I was right next to somebody with a giant cigar, just wafting into my car, which is pissing me off.
Yep.
Cigars suck.
That is... Yeah. Was it John Boehner that was in that video with Barack Obama?
Yeah, I actually have a soft spot for John Boehner. Even though he's he's a GOP tool, but I always have a little bit of a soft spot for people that can kind of laugh at themselves a little bit. That's why I always had a little bit of a thing for George W. Bush. Even though he's horrific person that got us into wars and torture and all that stuff, I could still see that he was somebody who could laugh at himself. It's kind of like how Trump, Trump is cannot laugh at himself. Mainly because
No,
you
he
saw
can't.
him get made fun of at that famous reporters dinner. That
Oh,
correspondence
yeah.
dinner where
He was
pretty
so
much-
mad.
He has.
Dude, Obama like rips into him, and the worst part is there is a Frontline documentary on the making of Trump, and it points to that moment as being the moment that Trump decided that he was going to run for president just to like screw with Obama, and like looking at it that way, you're like, man, maybe we
That makes
shouldn't have
total
made fun of
sense.
this guy. Like maybe if we didn't like really make fun of this guy for being freaking crazy, you know, being a horrific birther, that maybe he wouldn't be president right now. But yeah, it's one of those times. But I highly recommend.
Well, you know,
that,
he hasn't even
Frontline.
gone to the correspondence dinner.
No,
like,
he hasn't.
twice.
Because obviously,
He can't.
he got
cannot
ripped apart.
take a joke. Yeah.
Well, who would they get? Who could they get to go to the correspondence dinner and be the comedian that wouldn't rip the shit out of Trump? Like, there's literally no one.
Oh,
Has no
you
talent.
fucking...
No, I mean,
you say that.
talent. I said talented.
Oh yeah, no chance. I mean, probably your best hope for a talented comedian who wouldn't rip the shit out of Trump would be Seinfeld. And even then, you are walking a very dodgy line on both whether he'll rip into Trump and if he's actually any fucking good as a comedian, because he's not. Also, possibly controversial opinion, if Jerry Seinfeld wasn't an absolute garbage comedian, Seinfeld would have
he's
sucked, because part of the reason that show works is because he's just shitty enough of a comedian to be a plausible straight man for all the more talented people around him, while also not seeming like too much of a straight man who would just go, "What the fuck is up with these weirdos? Get the fuck out of my house. I'm not friends with you."
Yep.
Man, okay. Jeez.
Oh hey, Killer Mike is going on Joy Reid this Sunday.
Who?
What?
You know the Bernie campaign surrogate / I have a black friend of Bernie Sanders, Killer Mike?
Oh, right, that guy. I just
Yeah.
looked up his picture. Yeah.
Yeah, well, a little while back, he kind of did a thing where he was all like, hey, the NRA is actually good, fuck gun control.
Yep.
And everyone was like, a what? And then Joy Reid posted a photo with her, like, hair and makeup people from something, I can't even remember what she was doing, but it was some sort of thing when her hair and makeup people were along, and she's like, oh, you know, my great H&M people, and Killer Mike turned around and fucking went on the warpath about her wearing a brand that enslaves children, and yeah, H&M are really dodgy if it weren't for the fact that when Joy said H&M, she meant her hair and makeup people, H&M, and she basically just tore fucking strips off him so bad that even Big Bad Killer Mike had to, like, meekly back down and apologize publicly on Twitter. And now he's coming on the show where I'm pretty sure she's just gonna eat him alive.
Oh my god.
I enjoy seeing people get demolished. It's weirdly fun.
Is it didn't what party did Roseanne run on?
Roseanne Barr?
Yeah, it was like some
Roseanne
weird,
Barr, yeah.
crazy like left party that was like.
First she ran for the Greens on a socialist platform and lost to Jill Stein. After she
That's
lost
right.
to Jill Stein, she turned around and went to California's Peace and Freedom Party, which is an openly socialist party.
There
And
you
now
go.
she's a Trump supporter.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I
it's
haven't
kinda-
seen the new Roseanne. Has anybody seen it?
I haven't. I didn't
Yeah,
watch it. I didn't watch
I've seen an episode. I fucking pirated it because it's not available in this country.
Right.
Well, we
Oh,
don't-
good.
I'm pretty sure it's
yeah,
probably
I hear it's kind
banned.
of garbage.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't have any of the spirit of the old Roseanne, which was actually at least pretty watchable.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a cynical cash-in attempt where they're taking these big names, and the big names are all just like, yeah, fucking Trump's great, which is kind of weird because, like, you know, old Roseanne was kind of a quasi-socialist, ardent feminist, And I can't
Yeah.
imagine how someone like that suddenly breaks for Trump.
Well, wait a
Yeah.
minute. Wait a minute.
Hang on.
Wait a minute, Churba. Wait a second. That is like stereotypical, like our older generation. They were like hippies in the '60s, and now they're like Trump supporters in their 60s. It's like in the '60s they were hippies. In their '60s, they're conservative, crazy people.
I can fully imagine your dad with like the long hair and a joint
dude.
fucking hanging out his
Oh, you know
mouth
what?
like on a big fucking Harley Softail.
I gotta find you the pictures. My dad owned like 80 some motorcycles between the age of like 18 and like 26 or something like that.
Holy shit!
Like he didn't own, he had them, like he just bought them and then like sold them like real quick.
Oh yeah,
Like,
flipped them.
yeah,
Yeah.
he just kept flipping like motorcycles. He's a crazy. He has tons of hair. Yeah.
I was still surprised to see that. I was still surprised to hear that he actually owned and really enjoyed a sport bike that was similar to my old one. I always saw him more of like an all choppers all the time kind of guy.
Oh. Yeah. Anyway.
But anyway,
Why
like
that happens.
as I was saying about Roseanne, like
Yeah, please.
it's got the main two, like the two leads are now like Trump supporting weirdos, and you can just tell that someone at the network has gone, oh fuck, if we just make Roseanne but super right wing, nobody's gonna want to watch that. So they've just like basically gone, okay, her grandson is black, and this other person is quick, someone Google up a word, genderqueer. Yeah, perfect.
No, I feel like that's not. I feel like you're underplaying what the actual point of the show is. I think they premised it as the parents are.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Churba?
Turbo,
No,
like
just for a
stop.
moment.
Okay.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think they premised it to be that clash of generations. I think like that is the point of the show, even though I haven't seen it, obviously. But like John Goodman it's not like they were like John Goodman, the arch conservative.
I thought
mean,
John Goodman was,
Yeah.
to be perfectly honest, I thought John Goodman was dead.
Really? Oh, he's actually.
That's
There's-
John Candy.
Oh, I'm trying
And
to
John
think.
Belushi.
No, I knew John Candy was dead. I
There is
also
a-
thought John Goodman was dead because I did not think he was long for this world.
No, he actually has lost a bunch of weight. He's
Has he?
he's pretty. He's. I actually really enjoyed. Amazon had a short-lived show that it was like 2 seasons called Alpha House, which was all about a bunch of Republican like politicians living in the same house together, and they were all like horrific stereotypes. And he was playing like the like moderate like Eisenhower conservative that was that was like the guy who was like, you know what, we should stop being like stupid idiots and maybe just be like, I don't know, a governing type people again. And he did a good job. I don't foresee him being like like I'm pretty sure he's playing a part if he's playing a super conservative dude.
Yeah.
Just from what I know, I really think it's supposed to be the clash of generations. Like I think
Well,
that's their
yeah,
whole premise.
that's the thing. They are putting in the clash of generations thing, but the only problem is that clash, at least as far as the episode I've seen and what I'm hearing about the other episodes that are currently out, is that that clash always ends up with Roseanne winning.
Well, I would like to note the show is named after her.
Why couldn't they get like Rosie O'Donnell instead? Just replace her. Everyone confuses the two anyway. Nobody would notice.
True. That would be a little bit ironic.
I mean,
So,
let's face
you
it. White
think-
people are pretty interchangeable.
Especially wait, so hold on a second. Wait, people really confuse Roseanne Barr and Rosie O'Donnell?
Yeah,
I could see that.
because they've both got basically the same first name, and for the period of time where they were both reasonably famous, they were of a similar build and had like a similar sense of style. So everyone just confused the two.
90s, white, loud, somewhat overweight feminists. Is that just how they got broken down?
Kind of, yeah, actually.
Oh, dude, this article is pretty awesome. John Goodman wants Donald Trump supporters to build their own dome instead. Rather than a wall, the actor suggests they'd be less bothered if they remove themselves from society.
Nice.
So do you guys think the showrunners are trying to go for an all in the family kind of thing with the new Roseanne?
I have no. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen it yet.
How do you mean all in the family though?
Well, all in the family. I mean, granted,
Because
I
I can
haven't seen the new show.
categorically say they are not, but I want to see where you're going with this first.
Well, because you had Archie Bunker, who was let's be real, he was kind of a shit person.
America's favorite racist.
America's favorite racist.
Wait, that's Trump. What are you talking about? No.
I don't think Trump is America's favorite anything.
Well, I mean, how popular are racists normally?
I don't know. So you had Archie Bunker, who was kind of a shit person. You had his wife, who was, oh God, why do I never remember her name? Oh my God. Maud? No. I can never remember her name. God damn it.
You're
Can
thinking of
someone
Harold and Maude, by the way.
Heck, what?
That's Harold and Maude is where the Maude is coming from, you're thinking of.
Yeah,
you know Harold and
probably.
Maude?
No. Edith!
Yes.
You had Edith, who was arguably the best character on the show. And then you had the kids who were super liberal.
Mm.
So you think they're trying to go for that
No.
over the long run? No. Okay, then.
No.
That's it. Okay. Well,
Because
like I said, I'm
the
asking
thing-
because I haven't seen the new Roseanne.
The thing that everyone forgets quite often about the whole All in the Family with Archie Bunker is that even in the context of the show, Archie Bunker was portrayed as being a super shitty person that nobody
Yeah.
fucking liked.
And
he
wrong.
was always wrong.
Yeah.
He never won in the entire run of the show, except on the occasions where he came around and did something right. Like, I don't know, accepting their black milkman or something.
Yeah.
The only times he won were the times where he said, I was wrong. The new Roseanne, the only time everyone else's wins is when they agree with Roseanne.
No, I'll have to. I think I'll have to end up watching the show. Just
Yeah,
so
watch an
I
episode or two of it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not in... Like, I might be missing some stuff because, I'll be honest, Roseanne has always been a very American show, and there's always some context
yes,
I'm
it is.
missing when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
Oh. When have you felt confused watching Roseanne? Because I'm kind of curious about this.
Well, I was pretty confused when I was watching it going, like, how did anyone let this happen?
You're
I think
confused
maybe
about-
it's a cultural thing.
You were confused about how the wildlife around wasn't trying to kill them at all times, right?
That's it. That's probably it. Where's the fucking
I was confused why they
spiders?
kept talking about how possums were these horrible, ugly, scary things. I'm like, possums are adorable.
They kind of are, though.
Oh, you haven't
Yeah,
seen
until
our
they-
possums.
Until they turn and hiss at you.
Yeah, they don't try to kill you in Australia?
No,
Are they poisonous?
probably not.
Probably not.
No, our
did
possums
you
are
ever
like
go-
adorable balls of fluff. It's great.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on. Australia.
He's now looking it up.
Look for common ringtail
Oh my
possum.
god! What? A common bushtail possum, right?
Ringtail.
Ringtail.
Ah.
Oh, look at
It
that.
still kind of looks like it would eat me, or like it was trying to bite me.
No,
it looks
it
cute.
doesn't.
But
It looks
those
so
eyes,
cuddly.
the eyes in the dark reflecting the light make it look like
It looks
probably
like it would
try to-
very gingerly eat little pieces of rice cake out of my hand. Looks like that's what it would do.
You can actually
And
just
then-
feed them fruit. Like, I mean, I generally don't because the ones around here are wild as fuck, and
Yeah.
and like
And then you
they would
compare it to
probably not be too happy me getting close enough to feed them fruit, but they will
Yeah.
eat fruit if you leave it out.
Are they out
And then you
during the
compare
day?
it to the American possum. Which
No,
is,
they're out. They're nocturnal, but there is
Yeah.
a family of them that lives in the roof of the embroidery shop. I've actually got a photo of them last night on my big camera, but I haven't taken them off my big camera yet, so I'll have to get around to that.
Two. Oh man, possum. So yeah, so we haven't even covered 50% of the news that
No.
occurred just this week.
Right. Paul Ryan.
And we haven't been on
we
for
already-
like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't.
Well, we can't even
been-
talk. Wait, 3 weeks is 3 years ago in terms of news that's
Basically.
been going on.
All right, Scojo. What next?
What next?
next?
The Speaker of the House is not going to rerun for office, and he's going
Did
to
I not bring
retire.
that up? I
He's
thought
gonna
I brought that
retire.
up.
No, I don't think you have. You probably did that pre-show. But he's 48 years old, wants to spend more time with his kids before they go off to college.
He wants
So-
to spend more time with his playmate.
Yeah. No. Hey, look. Paul Ryan is a principled man. He wants to spend more time with his weights. He's got to keep lifting, bro.
Oh wait, yeah, isn't he Mormon?
No, I don't.
Or is
think-
that? Or am I
can't
confusing him
recall.
with another reasonably famous
No, but
Republican leader?
He's the one when he ran for vice president. He actually got into a photo shoot where it was him like doing gym poses and like
I
lifting
saw
weights.
that. I saw that.
And like he's already has the like the look of somebody who's
Paul
like a gym
Ryan
bro.
Paul Ryan is a Roman Catholic.
Yeah,
He's
I
not
figured
Mormon.
he was Catholic. So
Despite the fact that he looks virtually indistinguishable from the stereotypical Jehovah's Witness.
So just as like a background on Paul Ryan, right? Paul Ryan's been that guy who's like, oh, I'm really for poor people. However, I want to get rid of all of the safety net because the safety net actually makes it so that poor people stay poor and never can get out of it, right? So he always wanted to like attack Social Security, attach Medicare, and he always cared about like government spending and the deficit, and that was always a big deal. Meanwhile, he decides he's not going to run anymore. The week that the CBO comes out and says like, "Oh, by the way, those tax cuts you guys
Been pushing
passed
for?
are going to cause the largest budget deficit that we have ever seen." And on top of that, the tax cuts. What was it? I was just looking at. It was something like 50%, like something like 80% of the tax cut money is actually just going to go overseas to the people who are investors in the market that are not actually U.S. folks. So, like, in reality, did he really succeed? I mean, if he's increasing the deficit and he didn't end up touching Social Security, I mean, obviously I don't want him to touch Social Security, but, like, he never hit any of the big entitlements that he really wanted to. And he's pretty much giving up and going home because pretty much he sees the writing on the wall. Democrats are going to take the House, in my opinion.
Yep.
I will bet money today with anybody who wants to tell you that the Democrats will be in control of the House after 2018 elections. Like there
I'm
is
not going to
literally
bet money on this because
Yeah.
I very much hope it to be true.
yeah.
And,
Now I mean
so-
the Senate is crazier, but
right.
the Senate's so bad for Democrats. It's so horrible that it occurred this
So
year.
it's terrible. Yeah. Well, one can hope it will be, anyways. Let's talk a little bit about Monsieur Zuck.
Zuckerberg. I mean,
goes to
wait,
Congress.
did that also go on this week?
I saw a great thing on Twitter saying something to the effect of, "It feels like the world has turned into a movie where Elon Musk is trying to save the world from an evil Zuckerberg plot."
You know,
Which-
I'm
Yeah.
not as down
I
on
don't-
Zuckerberg, and I mean, obviously, I'm also not as down. You of course brought this up when Churba was not online.
Oh. Sherman, did you catch the last bit of that there?
Yeah, you're fucking sneaking around behind my back, you little motherfucker.
No, did you catch what I said?
No, I was still putting my headphones
I
on.
was just bringing up that Zuckerberg is testified in front of Congress, and that I saw something on Twitter to the effect of, It feels like the world has become a movie where Elon Musk is trying to save the world from a evil Zuckerberg plot.
That would be so true if it weren't for the fact that Elon Musk is
See?
I at least as evil as fucking Zuck. However, I'll actually I'd say that Zuck, like, he doesn't actually seem like someone who's that evil. He just seems like someone who didn't think through the implications of what he was doing, and now he's in way too deep to get back out.
I mean, to be fair to Zuckerberg, like, I mean, a lot of people did not really see that the code. You know, I mean, the big dream of Silicon Valley was that we would connect everyone through the internet, and that by sharing all of our information, they would make a few people really rich, but at the same time, we would enlighten conversation of society. And unfortunately, that did not quite happen as planned. And instead, most of us ended up being pawns of Russian propaganda efforts. So, I mean, can you blame Zuckerberg for that? I mean, it's a lot of people want to.
Kind of.
Yeah, you can. I mean,
like, Blind Freddy and his fucking CNI dog saw this coming.
I mean, yeah, right? I mean, like, look, I'm on record as being somebody who I am a big fan. I enjoy Facebook. I don't get depressed by Facebook. Facebook doesn't dominate my life. I use it to socially
connect
organize.
with friends.
Yeah, see baby pictures of my friends, so I don't actually have to talk to them because I don't actually like them. No, I mean,
whoa.
But I mean, like,
fucking,
you know,
Kate and fucking getting put on notice.
no,
Why did I forget Adam's name there for a second?
Yeah, I don't think.
Little baby Harris is so cute.
I'm pretty
He's
sure
pretty quality.
I'm pretty sure the Facebook algorithm is preventing me from seeing their baby for some reason. But
it knows.
well, they know that I'm very political. But I mean, I always took,
that would somehow bias you against baby pictures.
I guess. I mean, you know.
Well, if you think about it, babies, they eat, they scream real loud a lot over things that just seem inconsequential to the rest of us.
Right.
And they don't particularly care about what happens to anyone else until it becomes a problem for them. Babies are basically Republicans.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess.
My point is like, if you didn't know, like, anything free on the internet, you are the product. Like, it's like,
Right.
I know it gets said like a million times, but it's like,
obviously,
if you're getting it for free, your information that you're providing them to get the free stuff is the product. Like, get over it. If you're blocking the ads, like, how else are they going to make money? They're going to get money selling your information. So you either deal with that, or you pay, or you don't actually spend time. Actually, the interesting thing to come out of the congressional thing was that the talking with Zuckerberg is that they are actually thinking about making like a premium Facebook where you can get out of all the information sharing and ad revenue if you just pay like a small fee. And you know what? I'd probably pay the small fee to use Facebook because it's that useful to me.
Depends how small the fee.
Yeah, like, it depends. But I mean, in my case, like, if it was like $3 a month or something, I'd probably pay for Facebook just to like get out of all the rest of the stuff. I mean, I paid for FARC for a while just to support them and not get their ads. I'm paying for Washington Post so I can, I realized that, like, if I want to have these tools that I like, I can either get them for free and have them be compromised with ads and all sorts of crazy stuff, or I can pay a few dollars and get them and not have to deal with all that other bullshit.
Also, like, jumping back like a quarter of a topic, Zuckerberg in front of Congress about a massive problem that has a severe impact on the future of the country. Yeah, guys, we kind of screwed up. Like, we didn't anticipate this, even though we should have. Fucking shit's fucked, and it's a bit our fault, and that's not good.
No.
Yeah, but you know what? They didn't care about that.
Tesla, about a car accident. It's been clear in our conversations with the NTSB that they are more concerned with press headlines than actually promoting safety.
True.
So, basically, the Tesla is trashing the one government department
I knew this was going to
that's
evolve.
actually doing their fucking job.
I knew this was going to devolve into Churba taking shots at Tesla.
Well, if they would stop lining them up, I would stop putting them through the fucking hoop.
Well, no, but wait, so to keep it on Facebook,
Yeah, a little bit.
one of the interesting things was clearly, well, what ended up happening in the Senate, which was a bunch of old dudes, right? Was
I
that
gotta
the
tell you,
Republicans,
super excited
what?
about this. Yeah.
The Republicans actually didn't care at all about the manipulation and use of Facebook by a foreign power to manipulate our elections. They actually only cared about what the freak is that band? It was these two women who were called like what?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what
Diamond and Silk.
Oh, Diamond and Silk. Yeah, Diamond and Silk was the topic of like every conservative senator's, rant, which is these two black women who are Trump supporters who make these like god awful videos, and apparently Facebook mistakenly considered them to be some sort of like threat or something, and so they didn't expand their. They cut them down so they didn't get shared everywhere. Yep. And so they're like, oh, right. You're blocking conservatives. Why?
Well, because they're indistinguishable from bots, apparently.
Apparently, right?
I think the thing that came from this whole Facebook thing that I'm most interested in is just the amount of coverage that came out of Zuckerberg drinking water. Which was,
I did not see any of that.
You really?
No.
You didn't see anything about Zuckerberg drinking water.
Well, I would like to note that I consume my news through audio because I listen to podcasts like all day.
Right.
So I didn't actually see any video. Mostly they were talking about how he was very well prepared and he pretty much played the Senate because they were a bunch of old fogies who didn't understand how the internet worked.
And he did. They were, and he did. But, my entire social media feed, my entire feed of stuff coming out of Reddit and Twitter and Imgur and all that stuff was all about Zuckerberg apparently drinking water for the first time and being more of a lizard person or robot than usual. So, which is entertaining to me, though entirely inconsequential in the grander scheme of things politically wise.
I was amused about Zuckerberg treating the senior senators kind of like your parents asking you tech questions.
Right. Which was also hilarious.
Yeah.
I will say one thing that's kind of disappointed me about the whole thing is how many people are mocking him like, oh, he's a robot, he's a lizard person. Oh, look, he's sitting on a cushion, so that he is raised up a little bit higher. I'm like, well, first of all, he's 5'7". It doesn't fucking matter. He's not that short.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, like, yeah, the things that people are mocking him for being supposedly a robot, it's like, yeah, first of all, the guy's probably nervous.
Yeah, wouldn't you be?
Probably not, actually.
I don't think. I don't think many people see it from the perspective of the media and the press. Looking a picture of Zuckerberg, they are not. Most people are not aware of the wall of cameras directly in front of you when you're in that seat.
Yeah, I can't imagine testifying before Congress. That's like stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, looks really stressful.
The second thing is that the way they're mocking him for a lot of these things, they're basically mocking him for a lot of things that are traditionally things that autistic people are mocked for, which is a bit fucking shitty of people. Don't do that.
Is he autistic?
I have no effing clue, but it's irrelevant.
Yeah. Well, wait. So what are they mocking him for? That would be for
most of the things that they're like. the way they're mocking him as being robotic and emotionless and all this other stuff, that's it. Very much mirrors the ways that autistic people tend to get mocked.
Ah, yes, I see.
And then there's also, what's his name? Come on, brain. You said it a second ago. Then there's also the mocking him like, oh, he's a lizard person. Let's kind of not, guys, because the whole lizard people thing is basically just a super anti-Semitic conspiracy theory made up by a really famous anti-Semite.
What?
Is it?
No,
Yeah, dude.
Totally.
Yeah, it is, dude. David
learned
Icke is a
something new
raging anti-Semite.
Who? Wait, David who?
David Icke. He's an ex-pro soccer player, turned sports commentator, turned complete shit-flinging swivel-eyed lunatic.
Oh my God.
This up. You learn something new every day.
And David Icke is basically the source of what we would consider the modern lizard people conspiracy theory.
Really? Oh.
Yes.
Has been known since a former footballer and sports broadcaster. Icke has been known since the 1990s as a professional conspiracy theorist. Huh.
I so want to go to Wikipedia now and just re-edit that to swivel-eyed loon.
Hold on. Let me see this. Hang on. Let me see if I can. This is apparently marked as a good article. Whatever that means. Oh, let's see.
Dude, so Scott Johnson of Extra Life fame. So Operation Desert Stormy seems to have started.
Desert Stormy.
Womp womp.
Wait, what are you doing, Trevor? What are you doing right now?
I'm filling in J-Vance a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, carry on.
No, let's see. So, Skojo, Trump pardoned Scooter Libby.
Oh my God.
This
Yeah.
Yeah, and so some people are saying like, well, this is probably a message to Paul Manafort that don't worry about it, don't give in. A pardon will be coming your way. Though, it is, I mean, it did take 20 years for him to get pardoned. And who knows how many years Manafort has left and what president would actually pardon him. And also the problem with Paul Manafort is that a lot of his crimes are also state crimes, which the president cannot actually pardon for. So I'm not really sure how that would actually help him in the end. But yeah, it is Scooter Libby. Do you recall what crime Scooter Libby was tried for?
Obstruction of justice,
and
I believe.
No, he lied to the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
About what did he lie about?
Oh Christ. He was making he was convicted of perjury.
A spy?
Spying?
Leaking the covert identity of a CIA agent. CIA agent is really hard to say quickly.
Oh, that was Wilson.
Valerie Plame.
Mm-hmm.
Valerie Plame.
I thought it was Valerie Wilson.
I thought it was Valerie Wilson.
I thought it was Valerie
Hold on.
Plame. Well, okay, let's look it up.
Victor,
Valerie
go.
Plame Wilson.
Way!
Oh, there you go.
Everyone's right.
Everybody's right. But yeah, so he screwed up so bad that George W. Bush couldn't actually pardon him. He just commuted his sentence, so they didn't have to serve a sentence. But he still was considered to have caused the crime, and now he's getting pardoned. I'm not even sure Trump actually understands what Libby did. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was just done because the person who actually Scooter Libby lied to was guess who may have released a book this week?
Comey?
Exactly.
Bingo.
Hey!
So by saying that
Bingo bongo.
he was treated unfairly by Comey, which would be another topic we could talk about, which is that Comey is putting out a book.
Hooray!
Yay! Guy who
Why?
accidentally made it so that we have Trump as president.
Good job, guy.
But then got fired, so now we all like him.
I still don't like him.
Yeah,
I
no, he's a
Why would I
fucker.
like him?
I mean,
Why
my
would
problem.
I like him?
I mean, I don't have a problem with Comey in that, I have some empathy for people put in hard situations where they have to decide to do, like, two different things and they're not really sure. And, like, in his book, from what I've been hearing, the thing that most people hit Comey is opening up the Clinton investigation in the last weeks of the campaign again, just to look into whether...
Excuse me.
Freaking, I just lost his name, but the guy who was like the sex people, Weiner, Anthony Weiner, computer had extra stuff. Also, proof that Clinton doesn't kill people, because if anybody deserved to be killed by the Clintons,
No,
it
Jesus
is Anthony Weiner.
The Anthony Weiner. Yeah.
But by reopening that, a lot of people think that was just enough of the push to make it so that Trump actually won. I mean, in the situation that he was in, it's really hard. He thought, in the book, he explains that he thought that the polls were all saying that Clinton had it, like, was definitively going to win, to the point where he thought that it wasn't going to be, he was going to help legitimize her presidency almost,
God.
in terms of, like, if this came up afterwards, people would always be questioning whether she would have won. So, like, they put it forward thinking it was going to work, and it didn't.
Yeah, it in fact did the exact opposite.
Yeah, well, how could he know? How
To be
could we
honest-
all have known?
To be honest,
Yeah.
well, to be honest, Nate Silver said it best, which was, if Comey's decision to release the letter on October 28th was influenced by his interpretation of the polls, that really ought to cut against his image as an honourable, principled decision-maker. Instead, he was just being expedient and trying to save his own hide.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I agree to some extent with that statement. I'm just not sure at that time in the fog of the election whether it seemed that way. It's hard to it's easy to have 20/20 hindsight on all these decisions.
Well,
It's
yeah.
not-
I mean, and who else will speak most on the subject of hindsight than Nate Silver, who, oh my God, did he have to eat? Did he have to sleep in the bed he made about the election results? Good God. Lots of robot. Apparently,
Yeah.
I'm robotic.
You are super robotic right now.
I can't understand why.
Maybe because you're still probably on wireless, right?
I am not on wireless. I am
Oh.
wired in.
Oh my.
I'm totally wired.
This is one of those few times where Churba comes in better than you do.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
like,
Apparently.
drop your audio, switch your audio interface and then switch it back for your own feed.
Holy crap!
I
There
know
is some missile pictures going off. on
Everybody loves a
Twitter.
good missile picture.
I know, right? That was
Okay,
like
how
all
about
of
now?
my.
No, it's still fucked.
Still fucked.
It's not my fault then. I can't do nothing about it here.
Alright, try dropping out of the call and then dropping back in.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Why the hell not, right?
Let's hope it doesn't kill the fucking live stream.
It probably won't.
Fingers crossed. Well, it has stayed up after you've crashed your computer in the past.
I mean, yeah, exactly. So hang on. Let me just refresh the page.
Well, we're in
Oh,
charge
yep.
now. Woohoo!
Oh god, oh god.
It's all us. So yeah.
There's no furries in Ready Player One, isn't that weird?
What?
Hear me now.
Yes, we can, Victor. We talked about nothing of consequence.
Nothing of consequence.
And you're
Right.
no longer a robot.
Good.
You just
Stupid
know
Chrome.
he's going to track marker that and then come back so he can figure out what we
Yeah.
said.
Apparently.
Apparently.
My earliest like knowledge of being kind of politically aware involved missiles hitting cities because it was around the first Gulf War with George H.W. Bush, and they're very much like these missiles that I'm looking at now.
Fire the missiles!
Considering Trump's, let's say, governing activities and the thing he puts the most work towards as a president, shouldn't we call this the Gulf War?
Oh.
Oh.
Yes. They're coming up fresh and hot tonight.
Every time I read Donald Trump's Twitter, it reminds me of a toddler. Because it's written pretty much exactly how a toddler with a bit of an enlarged vocabulary would talk.
Yeah, it's just like insane stream of consciousness.
May I, just for a moment, I'm going to read the latest text tweet that Trump put out about 6 hours ago. DOJ just issued the McCabe report, which is a total disaster. He lied. McCabe was totally controlled by Comey. McCabe is Comey. No collusion. All made up by this den of thieves and lowlifes. Wah.
You use the exact same voice that I used at work today when I read that tweet out to my coworker and asked them who tweeted this.
Oh, jeez. The best thing is you can tell.
Oh my God. That tweet hurts me because it came from the president of the United States of America. Someday in the future, some kid learning about this time period may see a quote from George Washington and then see a tweet from Donald Trump that says that, and I will, like, a tear will form in my eye if I'm still alive and not.
This will be in the presidential archives.
Yeah, somehow I don't think they're going to be putting quotes from Trump and George Washington next to each other, except as an example of how far America fell for a while there.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I'm assuming they'll be in Chinese textbooks, explaining how the United States has fallen from its great position.
I'd like to think that in the history books in the far-flung future, this will be the little bit that has one sentence in it that says, from 2016 to 2020, Donald J. Trump was president, and then literally nothing else.
They'll be like, he was president.
What did President Trump do? We don't talk about President Trump.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, this is actually going to be one of the most written about presidencies.
Well, until the next one.
If we don't right this ship so fast, so fucking fast.
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, apparently these missiles that are coming in, just breaking news, are hitting like Damascus. Like they actually aim them at the capital of Syria.
Wasn't Damascus taken back? Don't we have Damascus again?
What are you talking about?
Wait, wasn't Damascus wasn't taken over.
No, Damascus wasn't. Damascus wasn't taken over.
Clearly doesn't know a lot about Syria.
No, I haven't looked into Syria for a while.
It's more just the issue that, like, in the last, 60, 70 years, we've kind of figured out that just fucking bombing civilian population centers is generally not an okay thing to do.
No.
I would like to note that Trump did argue that killing the family of the terrorists is the way to go to prevent terrorists.
That is so. Well, I mean, I suppose if you kill enough families,
and releasing our military from actually like trying to like not kill civilians would be a better way to win the war. So, I mean, none of this should come to any surprise.
Sorry, I was thinking of Aleppo that got destroyed pretty badly.
Aleppo.
That's what I was.
Like,
well, it's okay. You and Gary Johnson.
does he even realize that if he actually did that, he would literally be hanged like Saddam Hussein?
He would be literally committing a war crime.
Yeah.
No.
No, I don't think he does.
No, I don't think that actually matters.
I think he thinks presidents are immune from the Geneva Convention. Wait.
I'd be stunned if he could even name any of the laws of war.
Wait a minute. Isn't it the Geneva Convention people keep on saying that the US never ratified? Never signed on to?
Yeah, no, we have not. And actually, there's a good reason for that. The U.S. actually has rules that are somewhat more stringent than the Geneva Convention. And they also don't actually agree with international courts. That's our two different versions of why we don't accept the Geneva Convention. We have our own rules, which are about just as good as the Geneva Convention. But we also do not actually recognize international court systems because they interfere with our Constitution. So that is pretty much the reason we didn't sign them, even though we wrote them. We actually helped write the Geneva Conventions. In the scheme of the United States writing many documents that are used internationally, that we have not signed on ourselves, we tend to not want to get involved.
I think you might be mistaken there.
Oh yeah, you looked
The
up
United
Wikipedia.
Yeah, the United States ratified all articles of the Geneva Convention. You might be thinking of the other one whose name is escaping me right now, which is to do with weaponry.
Could be. I mean, I am not an expert on this subject. I just
Hey.
one on a podcast that has like 5 viewers.
I'm a television arts major. I'm not a, global politics graduate.
The U.S.
No, whatever.
I feel like there is something. I'm gonna have to look this up. Why don't you guys talk for a second?
Okay. Yeah, because I was about to say that, like, I'm pretty sure that nothing in the Geneva Conventions actually contradicts anything that's in the Constitution.
No,
So
but that's usually not why we. Oh no, it is true. No, I am right.
Oh, okay.
I am right. No. It's one of those. It's one of those where the Congress has to. So when we enter a treaty, it's kind of like the Paris Climate Accord, right? Where Obama entered us into the treaty, but because Congress didn't actually ratify it, we're not technically part of the treaty, even though we might be, part of it. So, for example, let's see. So there was, and the other problem, I guess, is that there was actually multiple conventions on this treaty. We signed the first part.
Oh.
We did not. So additional protocols were issued in 1977, extending the 1949 articles to cover guerrilla combatants and to soldiers in wars of self-determination. The United States signed the 1977 protocols, but the Congress refused to ratify them. So
wars of self-determination would be like splinter groups trying to declare their independency and sovereignty.
Yeah, for example, we have signed the basic Geneva Conventions, but when they tried to extend them to other people that were not nation-state actors, the U.S. Did not sign those, which probably involves how we have a eternal war against, groups like Al-Qaeda and such who would not be covered under the Geneva Convention that we have signed, but probably would be covered under the protocols that were signed in 1977.
Okay.
So yeah, anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, there you go. All right, folks. That is the end of the discussion bit. Does anybody, we're going to move on to lighter things. Things of the day, which we haven't done in ages.
Cool.
We haven't done anything in ages. We didn't have a fucking show.
We haven't done anything in ages for a multitude of reasons. Skojo, do you have something
shit.
that you've been particularly? All right.
No,
Chatterbug.
no. I got stuff.
Oh, you got stuff? Okay, good. Skojo,
No,
do you have something you've been fairly into recently?
Yeah, I'm playing the Zelda. I fell off a mountain and my weapon broke for the Switch, and I'm also playing Witcher
I'm sorry.
3.
What?
The new Zelda for the Switch, which
Oh,
from my
okay.
experience has been me walking off a cliff and dying when my weapon is broken and trying to run from some monster that I can't beat.
Yeah.
But I'm playing that. I'm playing Witcher 3, and I'm reading lots of comic books, lots of Marvel stuff. Yeah, I mean, I highly recommend if you want to get into comic books that you order your comic books through DCBS, which allows you to order them for like 50% off, which is a great way to read
Oh my.
comics if you have some money, or if you're just going to pirate them off somewhere else.
See, I technically pirated the entire run of Hellblazer, but that's because I already own the entire run of Hellblazer in
Well, that's
floppies.
okay. That's kind of like how I'm almost buying like literally everything Marvel puts out almost, and but I still download a thing so that I can like delete the downloaded copy so that I know what I've actually read when I have like Marvel Unlimited, and it has no ability to tell you what you've actually read, which is like,
that's
come on,
fucking-
guys, like what the like this is a paid for system that is really great, but it doesn't tell you what you fucking read.
That is
Which is
pretty
first
Time I
bad.
cursed tonight. I thought I was going to curse this entire episode.
That is almost as bad as Crunchyroll, and that is a fucking storied and
Ugh.
well
Wait a minute, hold
thought
on,
for position at the
Crunchyroll-
top of the list of bad UX.
Yeah.
I actually don't have a problem with the Crunchyroll manga reader.
Well, you're wrong then.
I use the app and it's fine.
See, there's the thing. You're using the app.
Yeah.
Use the one on the website and tell me that
Yeah.
is
Why
even remotely
why would I
okay.
do that? It's terrible.
No, Hulu has the same problem. The Hulu, like, put the most current episode as the first episode you watch for, like, a show is, like, the worst possible thing ever. Like, I've watched the last episode of so many anime series by accident because I was on, like, a fucking treadmill. And I'm like on the treadmill, and I'm like, wow, this show really gets intense quick. And then I'm
So
like,
what do you?
wait,
So what do you do on a fucking treadmill? Is that like a walking one?
what? What are you talking about?
It took Victor a minute.
Yeah.
Take a sec.
Scott's still
Take a
getting there.
I have drunk a lot of this rum. Make America Great Again, which now I'm pointing out in the video feed.
Yes.
for all of you,
Excellent.
which is
I've
actually
been
a
waiting
Trump
for you to
sign.
do that all episode.
I've drank a lot of that rum during the show, in terms so I could, talk
Yeah.
about Trump more.
If it
But,
wasn't
yeah.
such a fucking pissy day, I'd head down to the fucking liquor store and grab myself a bottle of Pimm's and have a fucking nice Pimm's in the afternoon.
Oh, wait, real quick before we
Jesus
go off of me. So I've been in a giant multiplayer robot
What?
game. Giant. So,
Give him the robot, Scott.
no, giant
Go back to the
multiplayer
robot.
robot, which allows you to play Civ 5 Hot Seat with
Right.
friends for like over 2 or 3 years, and I've been playing with a group of friends for all this time, and we finally
Is-
eliminated Rim.
Yes.
The whole world united to kill Rim, and I manipulated everybody into killing Rim, and it was glorious.
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
And the great part is he was
That's
doing a
so
video.
sorry.
He was doing a video series on how good he was doing in that game.
And now I guess the question is he going to keep on doing the videos series?
That is the question. I'm waiting for that to see exactly what happens to Rim in
Or
this
does-
video series.
Or does the recorded history stop with the fall of its civilization?
But yeah, it was just like a great 2 years of planning come to
That is
fruition.
great. I've never had a head for civilization, but that's great.
All right, Gerba, what do you got?
Trevor? What you got?
Well, there's this new book out this week. No, no, that's not actually out yet. And also, I'm going to pirate it because Comey's a fuckhead. I'm not giving him my money. He fucked up the fucking country. Anyway, however, there is a new book out. I'm just vamping while I try and get the author's name.
Do you want me to
know,
go and then you go?
No, it's okay because I forgot that the name of this book is literally the most ungoogleable name in history.
Yo, real quick, politics. The Comey thing is kind of funny because, like, what Sanders said, the publicity, the head of whatever. Anyway,
Sarah Sanders, not
Sarah
Old Man Sanders.
Yeah, she
Right.
she mentioned that one of Trump's he considers one of his greatest achievements firing Comey, which is really funny because firing Comey created the Mueller special investigation, which is most likely going to screw Trump over. So it's really funny to note that would be the most, like, one of the big influential decisions that Trump made if it screws him over. Anyway, back to what you were saying.
Okay, there is a new book out by Catherine M. Valente. Valenti? I don't know.
Okay.
One of the two that I will link you chaps to so you can also see it. And you will understand why it's ungoogleable because it is called Space Opera. And it is one of the funniest fucking books I've read for quite some time.
Is it a parody on all space operas?
I wouldn't call it a parody as such. I would more call it a comedy that uses that structure.
Oh shit! The tagline already sold me on it. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy meets the joy and glamour of Eurovision. What the fuck is that?
Also, down in the reviews, as if Ziggy Stardust went on a blind date with Hitchhiker's Guide, they got smashed and sang karaoke all night long.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to read this.
Oh, it is.
I
It is.
love the actual tagline on the cover. In space, everyone can hear you sing.
It is so good. It is fucking hilarious. It is well written. The prose is beautiful. It's just a fantastic fucking book.
Oh wow,
and I love
it just came out.
I wonder if
Yeah.
it's available on Hoopla.
It's on Kindle for like $4.99. So
I know, but if it's available on Hoopla, then I can
you
get
can
it. I can read it for free
Yeah.
without having to do anything.
The library.
you cheap ass motherfucker.
Of course I am. Let's see.
That's right. I
What's it
can't blame
called?
you. We're both poor.
Yeah. Let's see. Space opera.
Space opera. Catherine Valenti. I dropped you the Amazon link in the chat, so you can find it
did?
easy.
Oh my God! It is.
Oh, nice.
What?
I can
Yep, that's
borrow
one.
it right now.
Ooh. Don't take all the copies. I'll take it.
Oh,
That sounds awesome.
It's an audio book.
I actually don't like audiobooks that much. I like
No?
podcasts, but audiobooks just fucking shit me. I don't know why. There is one other thing. There is one other thing I've been doing in the small amounts of time I've had to myself this week, and that has been playing Ruiner.
Ruina. What's Ruina?
Ruiner. Like Ruin and then ER.
Ooh, the Honor Harrington comic books are also on here. This is great.
Thanks,
I
mate.
don't know why I never bothered to look.
But Ruiner is basically like Cyberpunk Hotline Miami.
Yeah.
I never played Hotline Miami.
And it's fucking really good so far. It's very pretty, the gameplay's tight. It's hard, but really satisfying in that same kind of Hotline Miami way. It's top-down isometric. And I got it because it was part of the latest Humble Monthly, so...
Oh shit! I get Humble Monthly. So I
Oh, you
should
do?
probably
You've already got
check
it!
out. I already have it!
There you go.
Oh my god! You know, man, that just like adds... Like, I don't buy games anymore because I know Humble Monthly will eventually give me what I want. Like, they just gave, like, last month it was like the Deus Ex plus like or Dark Souls. It was like Dark Souls 3. I was like, damn.
Oh yeah, it was Dark Souls 3 plus DLC for month before last. Then last month it was Mafia 3 plus a DLC. The one that you said a minute ago, Deus Ex Human Revolution, the one in Prague.
Yeah, that I didn't get, and I was like, man, I'm glad I didn't get that.
Yeah, man. Humble Monthly is banging. And
banging.
also, the final thing on my Super Jam list, because if we're going to steal from Geek Nights, we might as well also steal from ATW9K, is motherfucking High Dive again. I bet you motherfuckers are sick of hearing me talk about it.
High Dive. That's
High Dive. H-I Dive.
It's the new
That's
Crunchyroll thing.
Yeah, that's where Legend of Galactic Heroes is. So you
and
should
I
go
keep
check it
telling
out.
you, I keep telling all y'all, because they have actually reduced their pricing. They were, in the beta, they were trying a broken down pricing package.
$4 a month for 2 years?
What?
Hot shit. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, it's locking you
You have
into
my
$4 a month for the next 2 years. That is your price. But
It's not available on Roku, though. That kind of sucks.
basically, they were breaking. It will be. They are working on that. They were breaking it down into
it is!
sections. Like you could purchase more. Victor, if you don't stop shouting over me while I'm talking, I'm going to be cross. But anyway. During the beta, they attempted breaking it down into like, okay, how many screens do you want, and do you want it in SD or like high def or like 4K, or do you want this that? And they threw in a bunch of this stuff, and then basically this $3.99 $4 package per month is everything that was the most popular options that almost everyone selected, and you're getting it for like $2 a month less than Crunchyroll, with more shows, more everything. It's great.
And it has Legend of Galactic Heroes, one of my favorite shows ever.
It
that everybody
does.
should go see.
Yeah, so like you have effectively 17 days and 9 hours to go and sign up and get $4 a month for the next 2 years. So do that. It's worth at least the $4 for this month for you to find out what's on the service.
I mean, it's going to take you 2 years to watch all of Legend of Galactic Heroes, so... Cool. I'll have to think about that. I already have Amazon Prime, Hulu, and Netflix, so it's been a kind of a hard sell to get me onto High Dive.
Yeah.
Even though I am a huge fan of Legend of Galactic Heroes. Oh, what?
Yeah,
They have Aura Battler Dunbine.
Yeah, dude.
Oh shit!
I told you they got a bunch of shit, man. Like,
I gotta start watching some of the anime on Amazon. I have to watch that the Gem People one.
they've got like Flip Flappers, they've got Dragon Dentist, they've got Shifu, they've got Cutie Honey,
They got a lot of...
Cutie Honey is the first thing you said that I recognized.
they've got Initial D Legend 1 Awakening.
Oh, don't bother with that.
They've got Food Wars, all of Food Wars.
Yeah, don't bother with that either.
Fucking yes, bother with it. It's badass. They have conclusively answered, is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? The answer is yes, and that show is trash. Don't watch it.
Well, that's also on Crunchyroll, though.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
but if
there's
you
a
don't
lot of
have
there is
Crunchyroll-
some stuff that crosses over between Crunchy and that. But here's the thing. A lot of the stuff that's also on Crunchy, these guys have it, but they also have it like dubbed. They have
Dubbed.
I'll admit better subtitles. They've got a better web player if you're like me and don't have a device that can watch Crunchyroll other than your computer.
Are they only anime?
At the moment, yes.
Yeah.
Wait, is there a new Cutie Honey series?
Yeah,
there
it just came out.
is.
It just came out.
Aha.
It's new to this season. It's like
Cutie Honey Universe, bro.
dude.
I'm all
everything-
about Cutie Honey.
Everything, because the Devilman show was so great. Like, I'm pretty sure everything from like the '80s is going to come out again, redone.
Oh, I want
It's
to.
just, like,
Now I
really
want to
great.
see anime Roseanne.
Oh man,
That sounds
so.
terrible.
Victor, what have you been doing since I'm leading this? I'm pulling us back.
Pulling us back from the anime fucking death pit.
Well, So I've had to I've had to do a lot of traveling recently for unfortunate things, but it's okay. So I've spent a significant portion of time on airplanes and places where internet access is either Australia expensive or unavailable. And because of that, I have become reacquainted with the with Hoopla and Overdrive, which are two services provided by the LA Public Library, but I'm sure also by your local municipal libraries as well.
Yep.
Which is fantastic for getting into for getting media for free. So I've been listening to a lot of old jazz. I've got the best of Miles Davis, but I've also read a lot of comics. Like I read Adventure Time comics. I read volumes 1 and 2 of Hawkeye, which was
How'd
fantastic.
you like it? Wasn't that great?
Matt Fraction Hawkeye?
Yeah, Matt Fraction Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Good shit.
It's this
Kelly Thompson
this
Hawkeye is good too.
Yeah, that Hawkeye.
Yeah, this is great.
I haven't read the Kelly Thompson one yet.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
I read a volume. I read a volume of I guess issues 1 through 5 of the Mighty Thor.
Oh God, Mighty Thor is some of the best Thor.
I kept on hearing.
Ever.
Yeah, I kept on hearing about Lady Thor, but I never watched. I never read any of it. I never saw anything of it. So there's that.
Did you read it before the Lady Thor? Because that story arc right before that is really good, and then the Lady Thor is good.
I read Wonder Woman by Greg Rucka's Wonder Woman Volume 1.
Nice.
Which was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I borrowed the Vision, but I guess I never. Oh, Bingo Love! If you haven't read Bingo Love, you need to go read that.
You haven't read Vision yet?
I borrowed it, but I forgot to read it. It automatically got returned.
You gotta go read Vision.
And
Vision's
I
so
borrowed just now Space Opera, the audiobook.
Wow, it seems like how did you pick that one?
But they got a lot of great stuff on here. They got movies. They got Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure in here. They've got what do they got for new? What do they got for popular ones in here? Oh, Loving Vincent is on there. Yeah, that's pretty great. So, yeah, I'm kind of loving Hoopla at the moment.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And the other thing that's been eating a lot of my time has been Skyrim. I've been playing a lot of Skyrim.
Oh yeah, Victor loves to rim. You will never not find Victor rimming.
Yeah, that's 100% true, Sherba. Yep, 100% true. And that's it. That's it mostly. Hoopla and Skyrim, which has been great. So.
Oh man, I'm gonna shill real quick for Judith and Natalie, who have a Kickstarter going on right now. Oh yes, they have their pin
Kickstarter.
Yeah, they have Pride Pets, cute LGBT plus enamel pins.
Let me find that there.
They are good, and they are high quality pins.
Yeah,
or at least they will be when they're all made.
Yeah. They're all little dogs that represent all sorts of different people in the LGBTQ. They don't have Q on theirs, but anyway. Pins. But I'm hoping they get to a certain amount so they can get the LI pins, so I can actually be, like, get pins that apply to me.
Here we go.
See, my pins are already unlocked, but I haven't contributed yet because I'm actually fucking poor.
Well, that's okay.
Oh, but they're 400% backed at the moment, which is great, and they still have 24 days to go.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool.
You can get if you contribute as little as $13 US, you can get one Pride Pet pin of your choice. It's great. Yeah. So, go contribute, because you presumably have monies.
I got 24 days ago as of now, but who knows when this will be released?
if you can get $13 together over the course of 23 days, you can contribute and get yourself a shiny enamel pin. Alrighty then, that is it for us. But before we go,
Fuck.
hey, Sherba, we gotta do this. It's very important. Before we go, it is important, as always, to thank our wonderful Patreon supporters, the people who throw a little bit of money into the hat each month. What for helping this channel chooch. And to that effect, it is time for us to thank Dexter Calder, Geek Nights Podcast, Rochelle Mantonone, Rin Senpai, Funeral Cleavage, Zara Gorgian, Kate Macross, Yodel, Gina Moreno, Aaron Cerise, our newest Patreon supporter, Pinup Citizen George Davidson, our first Patreon supporter, and Ethan Fryer for contributing a little bit of money each month to help this channel run. So thank you to all of them, and your support is absolutely appreciated. So, there's that. There we go.
Hold on. Hold on.
What?
We're finished. This Patreon is over.
No, actually, I've been putting a lot of stuff on the Patreon recently. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. Yeah. You know,
like
I was
behind the scenes, or like behind the scenes, the show.
He's
No,
like
that's
behind the
behind
sheets.
behind the screen. I'm talking about behind the scenes, like editing live streams of editing Rin Senpai's cover of that Love Live song.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
that was
remember.
one thing I was doing while I was traveling. Yeah. So that is it. Thank you guys, and you'll catch us next week on Acceptable Vices. Good night, everybody.
Unless it's not next week. Good night.
Yeah. It's not next week. Yay. Oh, where's it? Where's it gone now? I've lost
Oh
the
god.
thing.
Oh no, we're still live. We
Here we
can't
go.
end. Oh, music outro.
We got
When you
music,
put this
yeah?
in the podcast feed, you'd best dub back over that with the real track.
Yeah.